Well, there'll be some changes to the study pathway to Canada, and this was just announced on the 7th of December this year. It's a good news and bad news for some people. So, which should I start with, good or bad? Whichever you decide, watch to the end of this video to understand this good news and this bad news. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophia aka NnukwuAda. I'm a content creator based in Canada, and on my channel I talk about the different tips and tricks on how to migrate to Canada via the different immigration pathways that are available. I also give you guys hot immigration news. So if you see my face for the first time and this content looks like what you like, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you could get notified anytime I post new updates. And just to drop this here, I always post videos on Sunday, so do well to stop by, check and watch my new videos. And also to my family, my subscribers, the old ones, thank you guys for constantly liking, sharing, commenting and supporting your girl. I do not take it for granted. Thank you guys so much. So on today's news, oh my god, it's a bittersweet news, very bittersweet news. Yes guys, so there have been a revised requirement to better protect international students. That's the caption. So what I'm trying to say is that there have been different updates on the study pathway to Canada, different requirements and everything. So I'm going to go through each of these updates one by one, and I'm going to explain what it means, give my 2 cents and all that. But before I proceed into the video, I would love to always drop this disclaimer to say that I am not affiliated with RICC. I am not an immigration lawyer. I do not represent the government of Canada. I am just a content creator that puts out information for people that would like to migrate to Canada. So always do your due diligence to do your research. So that being said, on December 7, 2023, Mr. Mark Miller, who is the new Minister of Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship, made some announcements, like I said earlier. And the first one, I'm going to take it step by step. And also, please, no matter what I say, last, let me use Nigerian slang, last, they are the government, they make the rules, they change the rules and all that. And I feel like most of these rules are made to protect us, the citizens. Like, it's made to protect us in one way or the other. You might not really see it, but like if you look inward, if you analyze it properly, you understand what they are trying to achieve by making these new updates. Yes. And also by the time I'm done explaining, you would understand what they were trying to do. Announced that starting from January 1st, 2024, the cost of living financial requirements for study permit applicants will be raised so that international students are financially prepared for life in Canada. Moving forward, this threshold will be adjusted each year when statistics update the low income cutoff, which is LICO. LICO represents the minimum income necessary to ensure that an individual does not have to spend a greater than average portion of income on necessity. Yes. So if you read further, you could see that this cost of living, which was formerly $10,000 for a single applicant, was recently increased to 20,635 Canadian dollars. So since 2000s, and now we are in what, 2023, that's since it's over 23 years, it has been constant that money is 10,000 for an applicant. And come on guys, we read the news and we always stay afloat with recent happenings. We know that globally there is an inflation happening worldwide. It's not particularly to Canada, and to be honest, this 10,000 doesn't reflect the true cost of living in Canada. And like I said earlier, they actually did a research, which is the LICO, which is the low income cutoff. They actually did the research before making this thing to see that it does not really reflect it. So 10,000 Canadian dollars would not be enough for you to stay in Canada, it will not be enough. So that's why they try to make people to be prepared, like they explained, so that when you come here, you will not be exploited. Lots of these international students are being exploited by colleges that sell false dreams, false hopes to them, promising them so many false things. And the government has gotten lots of complaints and everything about these colleges, and that's why they had to step in. And if you listen like to the end of the news, he also said that if these provinces would not implement this, the government will help them to implement it, because lots of international students are clamoring about this deceitful act and everything. So that is why this came about. But the only downside of this that I would say I have is because I felt like it's too sudden. This announcement was made 7th of December. That was like 2 days back, or 2 days back. And it's meant to take effect from 1st of January 2024, which is barely like 3 weeks, or will I say 3 weeks, or 3 weeks from now, less than 3 weeks from now. And it's not enough time for people to prepare and have this cash down. I mean, 2035 Canadian dollars in my currency, in my country's currency, is close to like 30 million, and that's really a lot of money. So I don't know how many people will be able to pull this through, but I know that some people will still be able to do it. I just felt like they would have given more time, maybe extend it to September or probably 2025, so that people could prepare and all that. But hey, the good part of this is that if your application was already filed, if you filed it already before January 1st, 2024, it doesn't affect you at all. So you can start crossing your T's and I's and start submitting your application, so that the cutoff or the deadline will meet you by January 1st, 2024. That's the only thing now. And secondly, if you're going to school in January and you don't have the cost of living, the amount that's being said, I feel like you should defer it to September. I feel for those that are coming in January or May, all those people that want to apply or have gotten application, they have paid their fees. It's really going to affect them, because the cost of living would affect you even if you paid your school fees. So you have to like do extra payments and everything. And I really understand. But if you look on the other side, you understand what the government is actually trying to achieve. So if you have the money, there's no time for you to check time or waste again. Try and file in the application. And another thing to note, it's not because you have submitted your application that guarantees that the money would not affect you. If you file that application and you get a rejection, if they reject that application, by the time you're reapplying, which I know that you have to order the GCMI note. The GCMI note, for those that don't know, is like a note you get from the immigration officers or from RICC to tell you to give you in detailed explanation why your application was rejected. So sometimes that GCMS note takes like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on how fast it can come. And if you calculate the period, it might fall into this period at January 1st. So if you put the application and it was not approved, I'm sorry, you have to pay the 20,635 Canadian dollars plus your travel costs. This is all the things you have to do, and plus your 1 year full tuition amount. So $20,635 for living expenses and 1 year full tuition plus travel costs. So if you do the calculation, you know how much they're asking you. The 20,635 Canadian dollars does not include your tuition. It's excluding your tuition. That was why they wrote it there. It's excluding your tuition. So don't think, because you have it yourself. No, you have to show that amount. You have to pay 1 year tuition, and you have to show your travel costs. So as you're arriving into Canada, the CBIC officers, which are the border patrol officers, would probably ask you for this information. On most cases, they do that. Even I've heard about cases they ask you to show your account before this announcement. So now they're going to take it top notch. You might be asked to show your account balance. You might be asked to show your full tuition payment and other stuff. So you'll be asked to pay 1 year. Formally you can pay 1 semester tuition deposit and you can apply. But now you need to pay 1 year. And trust me guys, it's a lot of money. But I know that some people can actually pull that. Some people are silent odogus, and whichever way, people will still come to Canada. Like, you still come to Canada. So that being said, I'm going to move to the second aspect, which is from the same 7th of December that it was announced. So started their application, like they have submitted their application to RICC before December 7th, and both international students that are in Canada already can now work above 20 hours. So we all know that formally it is 20 hours per week for international students. You're not meant to work above 20 hours, because once you work above 20 hours, when you go to apply for your postgraduate work permit, you'll be denied. Not mine, you'll be denied, because it's stated that as an international student, you're studying full-time, you cannot work full-time. So it has to be 20 hours per week. But now Mr. Macmillan is saying that you can work above that, because formally, those people, international students that were already in Canada before October 27, 2023, were the only people that can work above 20 hours. So this announcement was meant to expire December 31st of 2023, but a lot of international students were clamoring that please, there should be an extension, they need to work extra hours to also meet their ends meet, support themselves in school and feed and all that. So you see why the $20,635 came about, all these kind of things, when people start begging for extra hours and everything. So they just feel like, if you come with this certain amount in your account, I mean, you'll be comfortable to some extent before you get a job and you can start working and sustaining yourself. But you know that deep down your 1 year tuition is covered. You don't have to be under pressure. So back to what I was saying, those people that submitted their application before October 27, 2023 were the only people allowed to work above 20 hours in Canada. So currently now the government extended it from December 31st, that is meant to expire, to April 30th, 2024. So they can still, those that are already working above the hours can continue working till April 30th, 2024, while new students that just arrived recently, if you're already in Canada, if you have already submitted your application before 7th of December, you would be allowed to work above 20 hours. So that is also a good news to international students. So congratulations, you can work extra hours, you can take their extra shifts, but please let it not affect your schooling. And because they said you can work extra hours doesn't mean you can work above 40 hours or you take 40 hours. Like, if you work for 40 hours, how do you read? Because schooling in Canada is the definition of I'm going to school. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, because there are lots of assignments, there are lots of projects, there are lots of quizzes and everything to do. So I don't know how you want to balance all that, even if you're going to school 3 times a week, depending on your schedule you built. Even if you're going to school that 3 times a week, I don't know how you want to work full-time and full-time as a staff and all that. Like, it won't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, but just be careful so that you won't find yourself at the wrong side of the law. That is just the truth. So first things first, your priority is your education. Every other thing comes second, not vice versa. Like, you're on a study, you claimed you're coming to study. So why are you trying to work like somebody that is on a work visa or work permit or whatever that is being called? So your eyes on the ball or on the prize. Also, there were other announcements that were being made. Facilitative measure that has allowed international students to count time spent studying online towards the length of a future postgraduate work permit, as long as it constitutes less than 50% of the program of study, will continue to be in place for students who begin a student program before September 1st, 2024. This measure will no longer apply to students who begin a program on or after that date. So, distance learning facilitation methods were first implemented in 2020 in response to travel restrictions during pandemic and were reduced in scope in September 2022. So what this is trying to say is, as an international student, there's a limit to classes you can take online. You can take some classes online, but it has to constitute less than 50% of your program of study. You cannot take more than 50% of your study online. You have to attend some classes in class. So as an international student, like I said again, you cannot take. So another changes that was made was that in response to labor market disruption during the pandemic and post-pandemic recovery, a temporary policy was introduced on 3 occasions to provide an additional 18 months work permit to postgraduate work permit holders as their initial work permit was expiring. Foreign nationals with postgraduate work permits expiring up to December 31st remain eligible to apply. However, this temporary policy will not be extended. So what this is saying that was before COVID, because of the whole COVID travel restriction and everything that was happening at that point, most of these people that their graduate work permit was expiring, the government made like a rule for extension of on this. So it was in place and it has been in place for a while, but the government is saying that foreign nationals with postgraduate work permits expiring up to December 31st remain eligible to apply for this extension. But however, this policy will not be extended further, so it's just for the meantime. You can extend within this period, and after that, if you already have this and it's expiring up to 31st December, you can apply for the extension. But after that, there will be no further extension for this. So this is a summary of everything that was being said by Mr. Mark Miller about this information. You can go to the RICC website, you can check, read up this information for you. So, because the truth about this whole immigration, like I always tell you guys, is to do your research and stay abreast or afloat with every information that's being put in place. Because truth be told, policies are changing every day, both the ones that might favor you and the ones that might not favor you. So you need to know, so that you know the exact way or the exact method for you that will help your application or boost your application and everything. So like I said, this is all I can take on it. This is basically a summary of all he's saying. So before I end this video, I would also try to say this is my opinion about all this. It's be the same with your own. Everybody has a different opinion about this, and like I said earlier before I started the video, the final decision. They are the ones that make the policies, adjust the policies and everything. And like I said, they are making these policies for our good. So I know it's going to hurt so many people because of I told you that the only problem I had was that it was too sudden. Like, I mean, how do you expect people to pull this kind of huge funds within 3 weeks? But it is what it is, and that's what it's going to be. You won't really blame them per se, because they have been cases of people, international students now seeking asylum. They come here on study visas and they begin to seek asylum, and not just international students, also people on visitors visa, they are seeking asylum and all that. So it's just a lot for the government. So they are trying to like, hey, how do we curtail this? How do we make this better? How do we do this better? And this is the only solution they came up with. So for now, these are the policies in place. Just maybe in future there can be some adjustment, because I mean, it's Canada, and Canada always makes adjustments once in a while and all that. So for now, just stick with the rules, and this is all I can take today. If you have any questions, you have any comments, you can drop it in the comment section. I'll try to do my best to answer to the best of my ability. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys again. Please like, share and subscribe. Support your girl. Goodbye.